So, my dear ones, welcome. Welcome into the sanctuary today. What a great good day it is, too. Just want you to close your eyes for one moment. Close your eyes. Now I want to picture the center core of your being, which is a really beautiful, radiating, charged spot. And in that beautiful powerhouse of energy, there's a switch that says on and off. I want you to switch on your power, so just flick the switch to power on. Power on, power on. And let that surge move through you and come back into the present moment now and know you're jazzed and ready to go. And so, my dear ones, what we're looking at now today is the theme for the month, actually, which is service. Service. But it's not service in the way you and I think of service, as I was sharing this morning. Not that at all. It's not the usual things that we show up for and the volunteerism, that every now and again we write our name in a piece of paper and say, I'll volunteer for that. And we show up and we participate and that's it. And these are once in a while things that happen and we're delighted and pleased to do. Service of which I speak is continuous and ongoing and never ending. I don't know what's going on. People are fanning themselves. This morning we were freezing out of the place. We were frozen at the 9 o'clock service. And now I'm seeing people fanning themselves. So if anybody's listening and cares and can respond, please help the people who are fanning themselves. And it's hot because you turned on your switch, you see. That's what happens. So the service of which we speak here today is a service that is continuous and constant and ongoing and never ceasing, and you're in it and I'm in it all of the time. And there really isn't an adequate word for it, but the best we can do is service at the moment, which just means that you are open and receptive to be a very real and present help wherever we are. And that looks differently from minute to minute and from breath to breath. And so this is the call of the month. It's the call of the week. And in order for that to happen and you and I to be on top of it, so to speak, you and I are called to be awake and alert and alive and present to our living and vital and tuned in and switched on and all the other adjectives and cliches you can think of. So that we can be all that we're here to be right now, because we have our work cut out for us, as you know. At the same time, you and I are not supposed to get afraid. We're not supposed to get scared. We're not supposed to have anxiety about the future or concern about the past. None of that. That's not what you're called to. And I think that you're aware of that, otherwise you wouldn't be in this room today. And so what you and I have to be is kind of the lighthouse, that guides the ships at sea, especially in times of storm and turbulence and truculence in the waters and so on. So you and I are given charge now to keep that lamp bright, shining and glowing and at top-notch radiation right now, because that's what life would benefit from all over the place, so that when we look out there into all of those trouble spots, into all of those dark waters, into all of those burning fires, into everything and anything that's aggressively happening in a way that is, to say the very least, discomforting to people and very dangerous in many cases to others. So we're not going to let that engulf us and turn us into, shaky, quaky, fear-filled beings, because that's not what we're here for. And of course, as I said last week, we all came here willingly and well knowing of the fact that we could be a very real and present help. And I love to use that term. It's a biblical term. It says our God is a very real and present help. Well, there is no other godliness in the world except you. So you have to know I am a very real and present help. So instead of being the one that's always looking for help and needing help and wanting help and all of that, you stand there and you put your hands on your hips and you say, I'm a very real and present help. And sometimes that's to yourself as well as to other people. So this is the service of which we speak today. It's an attitude, it's an idea that is ruminating in you and moving out from you and through you in a way that's making the difference. It's the divine idea of you, actually, and your agreement with it, and then your being it, not by particularly anything you're doing. And it's lovely to volunteer. Please, volunteers, we need your volunteerism. Absolutely, we do. And all of the wonderful people amongst us, all of us who go out there, out beyond our community, into the outer community to help, to serve, to volunteer too. Yes, absolutely. Wondrously necessary. But you and I can show up sometimes mindlessly to volunteer and just go through it mindlessly. But we'd be better well serving humanity and all of life if we're sitting at home, still and quiet, knowing the truth that sets us free and just being the brilliant light that we are. And so that's the calling. Yes, that's the calling. And it's very deep and it's very real and it's very doable and it's very experiential for each and every one of us. Yeah, absolutely it is. In spite of whatever it is you might think that is going on in your life that's not quite right or absolutely wrong. I mean, because, let's face it, our egos are going to be non-stop nagging us all the time, all the time, all the time. So that's why it's so important to get still and to know. Recently, I was sharing with people here this morning that I was having lunch with a group of people, and we were having a conversation with the waitress, and after she'd filled us in with regard to what was on offer food-wise, we were talking in general, and then a moment's pause, and she says, well, does anybody have any question? And I said, yes. And she said, okay, and she had a pad ready. I said, what is the meaning of life? And she looked at me, and she didn't balk, and she didn't snigger, and very quickly she said, children. Children. And it was a wonderful response, a beautiful response. And then she waxed lyrical and strong about her own beautiful children. And as soon as she had finished that, she paused for a second and then said, now are we ready to order? See. And that reminds me that Spirit every day is saying to you and to me every minute of every day, now are we ready to order? What will it be? You see. And then I thought about that, and there were people at the table who didn't have children. So I said, that's the perfect answer, because what are children? Children are offspring, progeny. What are they? They are the result of the creations that we produce together amongst ourselves and as individualized expressions. So for you and for me, our children would be our thoughts, our feelings, and everything that arises out of a combination of thought and feeling in our life. So those would be our children. So I'm asking us all to look at the children that we have created until now and are creating now, and to stand back from them and look at them. And remember, these are children that are always with us. They accompany us everywhere. And there's no getting rid of these children. They don't leave home. These children come wherever we are. They come along with us, this crowd of children. And so to step back and do this wonderful exercise sometime during the week, you step back and you look at all those children and you say, okay, how do I feel when I see all of these children? Do these children make me proud? Do these children make me feel joy and delight? Do these children bring that wonderful sensation through me, physically as well as mentally and emotionally, that, oh my gosh, oh golly gee, how amazing is this? How wondrous is this? Are those children filled with strong character? Are they of integral spirit? Are they indeed knowers of what it is to be in service? How well did I raise them? You know, how well did I guide them? How do I, how am I doing with them now? And what do those children look like? What did they look like in the past? Do they look the same now as they did in the past? Or has there been some kind of changing going on? So what is the result of my creative expression on this planet until now? Do I like it? Am I pleased? Am I well pleased? Could I look at the children that I have created and say, as Spirit says, these are my beloveds in whom I am well pleased? Now, there's a job for all of us to get into, and it's very interesting. So when we look at service, we're only looking at it in the sense of it being an attitude, an attitude, an attitude, an energy, a perception, a song that keeps singing itself in our minds. And it's the song of being here now, tuned in and switched on to life. It's the song of being so mindful that I can anticipate needs around me, that no one ever needs to step forward and ask for help because I can anticipate the need already. And it has to do with, first and foremostly, knowing that this radiant, magnificent point of power in life, cannot be all that I am until I first take care of what's here, until I first handle the humanity of myself and settle it into that integral state of being, until I first know how to rein in the ego and allow the ego to be its best self, until I have indeed been able to create a space for the ego to feel safe and secure and be the best of itself. Now then, I am ready to be still and truly know and to be that power and to be that presence that I'm here to be. Because the spiritual and the human have been combined and integrated in one solid, unified energy. So that's how I'm best in service, by first and foremostly taking care of this. All right, how do I go about that? What does that look like? How do I raise my children, so to speak? How do I raise? Because the Bhagavad Gita says the self is raised by the self. Nobody else raises the self of you. Nobody else can raise the great self of you. You have to do that yourself. And you can come across all kinds of great teachers and gurus and the latest one in town and so on and so forth. And you can sit at their feet for, however length of time you're in awe of them, so that you are sitting at their feet until that wears off, and then you're on to look for something else or someone else or whatever that is. But you've got to sit at your own feet in this teaching and through metaphysics and in the understanding of who and what we are. You've got to sit at your own feet and discover and realize the great presence and the great power that's looking back at you and indeed looking through you and from you. That's how we begin our wonderful way into being what we have volunteered to be here to be. That power, that presence, that light, that life, that love, that peace, that beauty, that power, that wisdom, that knowledge, that understanding, that goodness, that kindness, that compassion. And on the litany goes, because that's what we all are. Instead of looking for it in everything and everyone else, we get to the point where we're content to be it, allow spirit to have its free way with us, and all we are the conduit of it all. We're not creating it, we're not making it, it's already there, done, present. And so how do we go about this? There has to be a process. We have to enter into the Soul Academy. We have to sign up for the Soul Academy. We have to go to school. No getting away from school on planet Earth because it's one great big schoolroom. So we enter the Soul Academy, and within the Soul Academy then, we rediscover the tools we have hidden away that were given to us when we came in. We find them stuck in the garage somewhere, the basement somewhere, the attic somewhere, and we take them out and we polish them up, the dust off them. There they are, in their pristine state and condition because they've never been used, You see some of these gentlemen that I know, they have these beautiful toolkits. Oh my God, they polish them. They even keep the dust off them. They've never been used. They have them there. They're using these old wrenches and different things that their fathers and their grandfathers have because these are too gorgeous. I mean, look at them. They're just so gorgeous. They're shiny, they're bright, they're beautiful. Besides, these are wonderful, and granddad and dad and all the rest of it. It could be a lady doing that too, it doesn't matter. But what you and I are doing, we're going to take those spiritual kits out and we're going to open them up and we're going to use what's there given to us to use. So what's the very first most important thing? The very first most important thing to get us to where we already are, but to remember that, is the deepest of deep intentions. I must have the deepest of deep intentions to be the conduit, to be the portal. I truly must want that with all my mind, heart, power, body, soul, everything that I am. I have to desire it, intend it, and want it to be. It's the first thing. Then I have to back it up, back it up, back it up, and keep backing it up all of the time. Keep agreeing to that decision, agreeing to that decision, agreeing to that. Doesn't matter how I feel or not feel. I mean, I have to keep doing that. It's the first thing. So the first tool out of that kit that I'm going to start in practice with in my Soul Academy, which is more really like boot camp, which is more really like a novitiate, a medieval one at that, medieval novitiates, where I'm telling you, all those young men and women were put through the ringer, in no uncertain terms, in order to make it through into being the monk or the nun or whatever. So, but ours is fun. There's the difference. It's fun. And it doesn't harm in any way. So the first thing is, you and I have to learn how to be still and silent. There's no getting away from this. In this kind of soul night school, you and I have to learn how to be still, how to be quiet, how to be silent. Be still and know that I am God. It is in stillness and quietness that your confidence is, scriptures say. So that's what you and I have to do. It's the biggie. And you know what? If you and I achieve that, we don't need any of the other tools. None whatsoever. But until we achieve that, we will need all the others that are coming up. So be stilling and knowing has to do with breath control. What's breath control? It's the cadence of the life force of your essence. It's beautiful, magnificent, harmonious flow. Your breath is your life. Your breath is your spirit. Your breath is your eternality. That's what your breath is. It's power, it's force. Do it again. Do it. That's it. That's power. That's infinite power. That's infinite power. And when you do that, and you feel the energy that you're moving through, that's the power, that's the energy. You're breathing it in and you're breathing it out. So we begin with that in meditation. We go into meditation to help us be still so that we can know the true essence of our being. And the breath will take us there if we're focused enough on it. So you do that. And, you know, meditation is whatever it's going to be for you and anybody else. It would take us a year to do a meditation class that might give us a clue with regard to the real truth of meditation. However you do it, you do it. And if you want to take up class, I mean, even in the gyms now you can do a meditation class. They have meditation classes, they have mindfulness classes, and so on. So whatever it takes, there's your solid, deep commitment and intention. Do what it takes so that you can meditate and want to. Not, oh, good God, I have to go try and meditate now, and really I'm useless at it, and really it's a waste of time. I don't even know why I bother. All right, then, I'll do it. See? Meditation is something that you and I be thrilled about. Dance and delight to our little meditation chair and sit down and say, oh, gosh, that's great. Now I'm here. It's wonderful. Okay. Meditation, contemplation. Contemplation comes to you after you've done spiritual reading. You're spiritually reading something and all these contemplative thoughts are going through you, so you contemplate them and you see what they're saying to you, evoking from you or moving through you as whatever. Now, spiritual journaling is very important because as you contemplate, have your journal beside you. Even sometimes when you're meditating, have your journal beside you because you might hear something loud and clear, and write it down if you do. So, you've got meditation, contemplation, spiritual journaling. These are all things that are going to help and assist us. Okay? Then there are affirmations, of course. Affirmations. They're just like lines. You keep prattling them off until something sinks in. And eventually, the mantra will start singing you. You will sing the mantra until the mantra starts singing you. A mantra is an affirmation too. And on top of that, and following all of that, and there's no particular order for it, on top of that, to help you to get to that through essence in its expression, yoga, excellent. Very good, not only for the mind, the body, it's good for the soul too. Yoga is extremely important. All right, there's nature walks. Nature walks, very important too. But when you go on a nature walk, for heaven's sake, make it work for you. Let it be a meditation. And stop, don't bring all the noise in your head with you. Leave that at home. Be one with nature. And gardening. Gardening is the most beautiful thing. Listening to music is wondrous too. Dance, beautiful, spiritual, creative dance. Put on some beautiful piece of music and just let the music move your body however it will move your body. And I guarantee you it will not want you to jump up in a pole. It doesn't work that way. It'll be more like mudras, you know, you'll be just very beautifully. And if you do jump on a pole, that's fine too. I mean, I haven't heard that one yet, but it's possible. And so anything and everything in your life acts as an opportunity and a spiritual tool for each one of us to grow, to expand back into that awareness of what we already are. Get back to where we once belonged. Remember the song, get back, get back. Back to where you once belonged. So that's what we're doing in spiritual practice. But the spiritual practice should not be a burden upon you. And it shouldn't be the thingy that you have to do at this time or that time or the other time. Your spiritual practice is your whole life. It's your whole life, but every single day, if you do nothing else, make sure you've given yourself the opportunity to be silent and to be still. To be silent and to be still, that's where you truly are able to unfurl your wings. You already have your wings, but unfurling them is another thing. But in the stillness and in the quietude, that's where the wings unfurl. And let me tell you, your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul will benefit from this. It's not just a mental thing, it's not just an emotional thing, it's not just a physical thing, it's a soul thing, and everything benefits as a consequence of it. And then, when you show up wherever you are, you will be in expression that which you came here to be. You will be the light and the life and the love and the peace and the beauty and the power. And just by your presence alone, things will be changed for the better. Persons will be changed for the better. And you will be advanced as a result of it. Now that's why you and I are all here. We're here and gathered to be the vortex of energy of all of that when we're all together. But when we're out in the world on our own, we are those individualized vortices. And we can and are making the difference. And the reason why we'll keep pushing this right now is because we still have time to turn the tides on the way this world is churning. We still have time to turn the tides so that we can start healing everything that needs to be healed in ourselves and each other and on our planet and in our planet, so that the future generations of children to come will not have such a huge mess to clean up after us. We want our children's children and their children. As they say in the East, you have to think 6 generations down, for 6 generations down. And we can know this world can be the beautiful place of serenity that it's meant to be. This world is that beautiful place of serenity that it is meant to be when you and I are still and know and get to that centered point. That's the only way we see it. That's the only way we feel it. That's the only way we identify with it. And we know in doing that, it is the truth. This is the truth of this beautiful world of ours. And on our watch, we're not going to let it go down the tubes. Are we on with that? On our watch, this world will not go down the tubes. By that I mean it's not going to implode or explode or anything else. But it's going to do what it needs to do to reposition itself in a central, balanced energy so that those children coming up will have an easier way of maneuvering through life, and every child on the planet can grow up feeling safe. Every child on the planet can grow up with enough and plenty will always be that enough, so that every child on the planet will grow into a beautiful human being that makes a wonderful contribution on this plane. That's what we're tasked with. Are we up for it? Are we equal to it? Really? Are we ready, equal and able to be the beauty and the grace that we already are? Yes. Okay. Service, 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 and let's have a most splendid week, and so it is. I'm knowing it for each of us. For all of us.